This is the Razer Raion with the pivot mod installed. If you've used this controller before without the pivot mod, you know that the D-pad is horrific. With the pivot mod installed, I've been playing with it for a while now, so let's talk about it. Before we talk about the D-pad, let's go around the controller first. This controller works for the PC and the PS4. There's a couple of switches down here. This one lets you switch between the D-pad, the left stick, and the right stick. And this switch right here allows you to set the shoulder buttons. So if you want to access the L3 and R3 buttons, you can just flip it over. As you can tell, this is a 6-button fight pad, great for games like Street Fighter. The buttons are really nice and big. Look at that. It's almost as big as my thumb. And they feel really nice too. They feel very much like the buttons on arcade sticks. Of course, you can hold the controller like this, or you can play claw. Probably the best way to use claw, honestly, is to set this side on your lap and then go like this, as if you were playing like an arcade stick. But overall, I love these buttons. It's very responsive. They just feel great. I want to mention real quick how comfortable this controller is. Especially if you have big hands like me. Right? This controller is pretty big and it fits my hand perfectly. Oh my god, let me tell you. You can play on this guy for days. The buttons are nice and big. Everything is just so roomy. Now you got 4 shoulder buttons, no triggers. These are all buttons. The thing about these buttons is they are slanted this way. So the inner parts protrudes out, so you can press it. But the outer edge here is flush with the body of the controller. At first, I didn't like it because I couldn't use this side of the buttons. However, I'm actually thankful that they designed it this way. I'm sure they knew about it. And the reason being is this. Is whenever you're doing a 360, your index finger here is gonna use the side of the controller as leverage. As you can see. Now, had the buttons been sticking up, you're gonna accidentally press them all the time. In terms of the feel, these are actually clicky. Whereas the face buttons, they're linear. The shoulder buttons are a little awkward to use at first, but over time I got used to it and I don't have any problems with them. Alright, let's get to the D-pad with the pivot mod. This is what you came here for, and I shall tell you how it is. By putting a little bit of a rubber in the middle, had made this controller from being one of the worst controllers that I've ever used to one of the best. It's insane how much better this controller is now. Before, I could barely do any motion inputs on this guy. But now, motion inputs is one of the strengths of this D-pad. What would happen in the past is when you slide your thumb around, since there's no pivot, multiple directions would get activated and it'll just mess up your motion. But now, since there is a pivot, you cannot press 2 directions at once. And just that simple fact makes this D-pad 1,000 times better. Quarter circle movements, Z movements, charge, half circles, full circles, and even a double 360. The only move that this D-pad is not great at, I would say it's decent but not great at, is the tiger knee or the instant air special. So what you're supposed to do here is do a quarter circle backwards, buffer it, and then slide your thumb to jump forward, and then press kick. You see how he keeps on jumping backwards? That's because this D-pad is a disc. So when I slide my thumb backwards like this, my thumb tends to just slide off this way and then activate up back before I slide it up. To execute this move, you gotta make sure that up back doesn't get activated. It's definitely doable to execute this move on a consistent basis if you really learn this D-pad and not go up, right? Just go sideways and then up forward. Before the pivot, I cannot do the Izuna drop at all. Versus now, cardinal directions on this D-pad is pretty good now. I rarely ever drop any combos using this D-pad. And you know when the D-pad is good is during a high leverage match or you're fighting somebody who's hella good. Every single mistake will cost you a match. And that doesn't happen with this D-pad for me. All the directions are super accurate. And really with every D-pad, there's a balance, right? Since this is a disc D-pad, cardinal directions is not going to be as good as something like this, where you get these grooves here and it's locked in. So if you want to do diagonals, you know where to press. On this guy, the cross is very flushed to the disc, so you can't really feel your way around as much. And the thing about D-pad designs is you gotta find that balance between motion inputs, where you need the D-pad to be a little loose, and this guy is a little loose. Or if the D-pad is tight, then this is great for cardinal directions. This D-pad here is on the looser side. What that means is this is great for motion inputs, but cardinal directions would take you some time to get used to. With this controller, I'm not able to do polling rate tests on it because the software that I use require controllers to have a left stick for me to test it. So as you can see, there's no such thing on this guy, so I can't test the polling rate. Alright, final thoughts. Does this new pivot makes this controller the best fight pad out there now? Well, no, but I'll tell you what, it's pretty close. I would say this D-pad strength now with the pivot mod are in the motion inputs. Cardinal directions will take you some time to get used to it, but once you do, oh my god, this controller is such a great controller for fighting games. Particularly 2D fighters, where you have a lot of motion inputs. Alright, that's going to be it for me. Hopefully you found the video to be helpful. If you did, give it a like, subscribe for more, and take care now.